Jambo Safari Media. You are watching Jambo News with me, Tracy Wamboi. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines today. Stolen truck chase. Suspect crashes into 13 vehicles in Long Beach, California. Trump dismisses concerns over rising car prices amid 25% tariffs on imports. Israel and Hamas consider ceasefire proposal, 5 hostages for 50-day truce. South Korea wildfire investigation. Man under scrutiny after 30 deaths. Myanmar earthquake death toll rises to 1,700 amid ongoing rescue efforts. We continue to monitor the devastating aftermath of the powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake that struck Myanmar last Friday. As rescue operations unfold, new challenges and developments are emerging in the region. Since the earthquake, the death toll has tragically risen to around 1,700, with thousands more injured. The military government of Myanmar reports that many remain missing, with search efforts still ongoing. In a distressing update, a secondary earthquake registering a 5.1 magnitude has hit near Mandalay, further complicating rescue operations. The United Nations has raised alarms over a severe shortage of medical supplies, which is significantly hampering the response to this disaster. Emergency teams are struggling to reach those in need, particularly in remote areas where communication is limited. In Thailand, the situation is equally dire. Rescuers are working tirelessly at the site of a collapsed high-rise building in Bangkok, where the death toll has now reached 17, with 83 individuals still unaccounted for. Eyewitnesses' reports describe chaotic scenes as rescuers sift through the rubble, desperately searching for survivors. In a notable response to the crisis, Myanmar's National Unity Government, which operates in exile, has announced a 2-week pause in military operations in the earthquake-affected regions. This decision aims to facilitate humanitarian efforts and allow aid to reach those in need without the threat of military conflict. Meanwhile, Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul has initiated an investigation into the high-rise collapse. He stated that an investigation committee has been appointed to uncover the causes of the disaster and that they will report back within a week. We'll keep you up to date as more information becomes available and as rescue efforts continue. Please stay tuned for further developments on this unfolding situation. We have an update on the devastating wildfires in South Korea that have resulted in significant loss of life and property. A 56-year-old man is under investigation for allegedly starting the fires, which have claimed the lives of 30 people. Authorities are probing a man who was reportedly performing an ancestral rite at a family grave in Wisong County when the wildfire ignited. The suspect, whose name has not been released, has been booked but has not been arrested. He denies any wrongdoing. Investigators learned from the suspect's daughter that the fire began as her father attempted to burn tree branches over the graves using a cigarette lighter. This tragic incident has led to a widespread disaster, with the wildfires burning more than 48,000 hectares, an area about 80% the size of Seoul. After 10 days of relentless destruction, officials announced that the main fires have finally been brought under control. However, smaller fires continue to flare up, posing ongoing risks. The devastation has been extensive, with around 4,000 structures destroyed, including homes, factories, and significant cultural landmarks. Among the losses is the Gun Temple, a UNESCO World Heritage Site building in 618 AD, which was one of the largest temples in North Gyeongsang Province. Most of the casualties were elderly individuals, primarily in their 60s and 70s, underscoring the tragedy of this disaster. Emergency services are working tirelessly to assess the damage and provide assistance to the affected communities. We'll keep you updated as more information becomes available on this tragic story. Our thoughts are with those impacted by this wildfire. Please stay tuned for further developments. In a bold statement, President Donald Trump has expressed indifference towards potential price increases for cars due to his new tariffs on foreign-made vehicles. President Trump announced a 25% tariff on cars and car parts imported into the United States, set to take effect on April 2nd. When asked about the potential for higher car prices, Trump stated he couldn't care less, suggesting that increased prices may push consumers towards purchasing American-made vehicles. Speaking with the NBC News, Trump remarked, if foreign car makers raise prices, it meant that people were going to buy American-made cars. This announcement comes after a brief pause in the implementation of the tariffs, following lobbying efforts from major U.S. automakers like Ford and General Motors.
This will continue to spur growth like you haven't seen. Before I was elected, we were losing all of our plants that were being built in Mexico and Canada and other places. Now those plants largely have stopped and they're moving them to our country. In Indiana, the great state of Indiana, I love Indiana, Honda is building one of the biggest plants anywhere.
However, Trump indicated that he has no plans to delay the tariffs any further unless negotiations yield something of great value. The tariffs could lead to significant disruptions in car production within the U.S., with analysts warning about the potential price hikes and strained relations with American allies. In response to the tariffs, Downing Street sources have indicated that the UK is prepared to retaliate if necessary. The UK is currently in last-minute negotiations with the White House to secure an exemption, emphasizing its relatively balanced trading relationship with the US. Other countries, including Germany and France, have also vowed to respond firmly to Trump's actions. Germany has stated it will not give in, while France's president called the move a waste of time and incoherent. Canada has labeled it a direct attack, and China has accused the US of violating international trade rules.
We will build an all-in Canada network for auto manufacturing components. Because on average, an auto part crosses that border, often through that bridge, over that bridge, 6 times before final assembly. And in a trade war, that's a huge vulnerability.
As this situation unfolds, we'll continue to monitor the impact of these tariffs on the auto industry and international trade relations. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story. A dramatic police chase in Long Beach, California, ended with a man in custody after he crashed a stolen truck into multiple vehicles. On Friday, a suspect led police on a high-speed chase that resulted in the collision of 13 vehicles. Aerial footage captured the chaotic scene as the suspect drove into oncoming traffic, crashing head-on into several cars before ultimately crashing into the parking lot of a paint shop. One motorist, Ricardo Collins, shared his experience with the CBS News, explaining that his work truck was stolen by the suspect while he was dropping off parts. Fortunately, while at least one police officer sustained injuries during the pursuit, no serious injuries have been reported among the other motorists involved. Authorities are investigating the incident, which has raised concerns about public safety during such high-speed police chases. The suspect is now in custody, and further details regarding charges are expected to be released soon. This incident highlights the dangers of vehicle thefts and reckless driving. We'll continue to provide updates as more information becomes available. Stay tuned for further developments on this story. New negotiations are underway as Israel and Hamas consider a ceasefire proposal that could lead to a temporary truce in the ongoing conflict. Here's the latest from the region. The Palestinian military group Hamas has expressed support for resuming a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip following a proposal from mediators that would see 5 more hostages released to Israel in exchange for a 50-day truce. Khalil al-Hayya, a senior Hamas leader, confirmed that the group approved the draft deal sent by Egypt and Qatari mediators. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office has also acknowledged receipt of the proposal and has submitted a counter-offer in coordination with the United States. While the details of the Israeli counter-proposal remain undisclosed, it could align with the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Fitr, which began this Sunday. This latest development comes as Israeli forces has intensified their operations in Rafah and continued airstrikes across the Gaza Strip. The previous ceasefire, which began on January 19th, ended earlier this month amid failed negotiations for a second phase. During the first phase, Hamas released 33 hostages, but it is believed they still hold 59, with concerns about their well-being. Hamas had previously insisted on a complete withdrawal of Israeli forces in Gaza and the release of all remaining hostages as part of any new agreement. However, negotiations for this second phase never materialized. In response to Hamas' rejection of an extension of the initial ceasefire, Israel resumed military actions on March 18th. According to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry, over 900 people have died in Israeli airstrikes since that time. Families of the remaining hostages have publicly criticized Netanyahu, accusing him of jeopardizing their loved ones' lives by breaking the ceasefire. As negotiations continue, the hope for a renewed ceasefire grows amidst ongoing violence. We'll keep you updated on any developments in this critical situation. That's a wrap for today. Thank you for joining us on Jambo News. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Till next time, stay safe and informed.